Alright, so now that we're centered out, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this model here, and it's at 1 by 1 by 1 on the XYZ to be scaled correctly. So next thing we're going to go into the modify panel. Actually, we were in the creation panel before, just to correct myself. But yeah, let's head to the modify panel. You just click it. There are these little tabs up here. You have a hierarchy panel, motion panel, display panel, and utilities panel. But right now, let's go ahead and go to modify, and we're going to just go ahead and name this into a crate. So let's name it crate, and we're going to apply a Uvw Unwrapped to it. So we're going to click this modifier list right here that has a rollout, an arrow rollout. Click that, and it'll list a whole bunch of things. So easy way to getting to Uvw Unwrap is I press U, and it'll say Unwrap Uvw. Anything below that, like Uvw Map, just ignore that. I want Unwrap Uvw, so just go ahead and click on that. So now that you applied an Unwrap Uvw modifier on it, the next thing you do is you open up the UV editor, and what this does, it'll show your box basically laid out flat, but instead it's laying out all corners flat onto this space right here, and that's not what you want. You want to basically have 4 separate sections. Like I said, we had that texture, it had 4 different sides of that crate, so we want to go ahead and start separating these. So the easiest way of doing that is pressing 3, which goes into polygon mode, which is down here in this bottom right corner, or you can access it in the Unwrap Uvw modifier right here, and you just go under face, or you can press 3 as well. So I'm just going to press 3, highlight it with a marking with a box, and then we're going to go into mapping, and we're going to flatten the mapping. So what this will do is it'll flatten at every 45 degrees, which means every time, like let's say if you have this top part right here, it'll 45 degrees from there will lead into the Z, 45 degrees from there will lead into that, and on that side. So I'm just going to press OK. Normalize clusters, it's fine. Press OK. And you will have 6 sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a thing here. I said that the top and bottom part of this model is going to have the exact same texture. So let's go ahead and open up Photoshop, and I'll show you how to save out your file. So let's go back to Photoshop. Okay, now we're back into our monster inside. But like I said, you guys just have fun with painting as well. Also, you know, I did leave out like things like to add story. Of course, you want to know how are these boxes sticking together? How are they on top of each other? Just put nails and things like that in there. Put some in the center to lock it down right there, and then on the side. And then you can also overlay a nice like wooden texture or kind of a grainy texture. It's just up to you on how you want to do it, but you can do it that way as well. There's a bunch of different ways of approaching this. You can just have fun with it, but I'm going to leave it as is for now. It looks pretty good. I'm going to go to File, Save As, or Control Shift S, and I want to save this as a Targa because it's very friendly with it's a very friendly file format for video games. And I'm going to leave it as Crate Tut Targa or Diffuse. Let's just change it to Diffuse. Crate Diffuse Targa. So we don't get things all mixed up here. So DIF for Diffuse. I'm going to do Tut because of course it's my tutorial for you guys, so you guys can leave that out. But yeah, just save it as a Targa. Could be 24 bits, doesn't have to be 32 bits. 32 bits you want to click if you have like an alpha channel or something like that. An alpha channel being an extra channel that basically it's more things for the computer to render. It's basically another channel that's in the back that you can modify it. You can make an opacity map. You can make things silhouetted with it. A lot of times people do flames and animated flames and stuff inside video game engines with that. But I'll go over tutorials on how to do stuff like that too as well. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Yeah, so 24 bits pixel. That's fine, but it's okay. And so we saved it as 24 bits. We're going to go back to 3D Max. And in this, right now, all you see is a checker pattern. So if you just press the checker pattern rollout and you click checker, it'll show the checker in the viewport. If it's not showing this, it could be that your perspective panel is not showing that it's shaded, or in my panel it's realistic because I have max design. But usually everybody has shaded, and yeah, so just you can choose shaded or realistic, and just go ahead and the next thing we have to do is open up our Uvw editor and go into the material editor first, actually. So to access the material editor, all you do is go to, let's see here, I think it's tools, I believe. Is it tools? Modifiers. Oh, graph editors. Let's see, rendering. Okay, it's under rendering. Rendering, material editor. You can choose compact or slate. It doesn't matter. Slate reminds me of Maya's hypergraph, hypershade editor, but you can choose either or. I like using compact material editor. So it loads up these materials. These are all material slots for many different materials you have if you do have more than one. So right now we're going to select the first one, which is 01 default. I just want to name it crate. I'm going to name this crate. MAT_matte, crate matte material, and we're going to change it from architecture and design to standard. If you guys have original 3D Studio Max for animation games, it'll already be under standard, so you don't have to worry about changing it. But if you have design, you'll have to change it. So right now there are these different channels. Ambient is a channel for like creating very bright, not really no shadows on this object. This is just a color channel, diffuse color channel, specular highlight color channel. I'll show you guys how to put specular in there eventually, but right now we're just going to go ahead and use diffuse, and we're going to click this box right here, and this will bring up bitmap. And bitmap is basically any kind of file format that has colors applied to it. So just open that up, and we're going to take our original file. So let's say where is it located? So we're under textures, right? So I want to take this directory right here, and let's see if we can find the directory by I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to paste it. And I want to look for the diffuse Targa image that I made earlier. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to open it. With that, it opened the diffuse map. I'm going to go back to create material. Everything down here is fine. Use world scale texture. That's fine. And I'm going to drag this material on top of this box. And right now you can't see anything because it's not showing because we don't have show shaded material in viewport. So to show the shaded material, all I have to do is click this icon, and it will show the shaded material. The next thing that you'll have to do after this is go back to your UV editor. And right now you can see everything's just all out of whack. Like pieces of the material we had is just like on top of each other. We don't know what's going on. So to fix that, we go back to the UV editor. So to get back to that, you go back to the modify panel, open UV editor, and open right back up for you. And now let's go ahead and pick that texture that we just picked out. You can just scroll down to the bottom, and you'll have create diffuse.tga. You just click that and you open it. What that'll do is just show you that the diffuse texture inside your 0 to 1 UV space. 0 to 1, 0 being right here, 1 being over here, 1 being over here, 1 being over here, 0 to 1 UV space. And this is just basically space where you can store flatten textures out and flatten your models out and create textures for them. But you want to try and utilize as much UV space as possible. You don't want to leave any empty spaces really open. So that's why I usually pre-plan ahead of time, and I usually tend to draw out my models before I actually start modeling them. Sometimes I actually paint them out, which is kind of interesting. Some people don't have that technique. Some people do. But it's just totally optional. It's up to you. Everyone has their own different workflow. But yeah, so you can paint out your models, or you can just start modeling right off the bat. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I do both ways. It's not exactly correct. I do both ways, and so. But what you want to do here is just you want to take each side of the box, and you just want to kind of line it up right above that. And as you can see, it created that X right there in that box for me. Let's extend that a little bit. But I want that to be the top and bottom. So I know that is not the top and bottom. Let's go ahead and add it onto this texture right here. I kind of like this one. I like how it wraps around. It's like it's holding something inside. Preferably a monster. So let's get this monster inside of the box. Okay, so this one, if you're not seeing what's highlighted in the world space, all I do is press 3, and that'll go ahead and highlight. Oh, okay, there it is. So you can see it is the side of the box, and that's what I'm shooting for. Because there is a monster in there, and you don't want to open that because he might pop out and eat you. But yes, and then you just go ahead and line this up, and this will be the top part of the crate. Let's go ahead and do the bottom. You can even select in the viewport if you want to, just to find out which piece is which. Let's line that on top of it. Some games overlay the textures, some don't. I mean, it's really personal preference. Some people don't do it because of light maps. If it's on the same channel, but usually when you do light maps, you usually want to keep it on separate channels, but separate UV channels. Meaning right here you'll have map channel, and you just select it and you press up, and it'll create a second UV map channel for you. But that's how you do lighting. But that can go over that over a different tutorial as well. But yeah, so you got X on the top and bottom. Looks like the place you open. There's the monster inside. Let's go ahead and continue on. So let's take this texture right here. Let's go ahead and if you guys aren't seeing this around here, this box around here, make sure you click Freeform Mode. Sometimes we move. You just only can move the object. But yeah, these are the different modes. Forgot to go over with you guys. So yeah, just make sure you're in Freeform Mode. That'd be the best bet. And then just go ahead and scale this guy. Kind of like the fact that it's connecting with the other side. And then it stops. Like the other side is weak. Okay. you go. So it goes all the way around, and then your final piece. So let's get this one over here. And there you have it, pretty much. I mean, what you guys can do, if you guys want to keep things organized, you can go into Vertice Mode. So let's go to Vertex Mode, and select these vertices, as well as the ones down here on this side. Just the boxes that are overlaying on top of each other. Don't select the one next over to the other side. And then what you can do is you can align vertical. That'll straighten that out for you. Just keep things nice. It's not really necessary, but if you feel like doing this, go for it. I just like to be particular, especially sometimes seams don't line up, and like especially when it comes to here, it won't line up, and you're wondering, oh man, it's like, why is it not syncing up correctly? I'll go ahead and show you guys an instance right now. Let's see here. So I'm just going to select this top part. So I got this top part right. Let's see. If I bring it down, you see how this seam's not really linking up correctly to that? The best way to solve that is just like what I was doing. So you just select those two on that side, and then you select the two on this side, and you do the same thing. You just align it horizontal. And you see how it just synced up right in there? That's beauty. I mean, that just keeps it nicely looking, nicely packed on top of each other. You're packing those UVs in. Bam, bam. Any other two that are overlapping? Oh, we got this side too. So let's do the same thing with this one. Same thing. Back on top of each other. Get those UVs in there. Oops. I had the other one selected still. So I just gotta unselect it and select it again. And then this side as well. Bam. There you go. And then let's do it for vertical. So this side. And then this side. And then you have vertical. It's looking good. Looks great. And then you got this side. This is the last side. And this is pretty much it for this, as far as this part goes. Okay, so that's that pretty much. I mean, I'll tell you guys how to do some basic UV mapping. I can get more into the complex stuff when we start doing more advanced models and stuff like that. But yeah, this is basic kind of like texturing for video games and UV mapping, and I mean, it really gets fun as you keep going, you keep doing it, you get used to it. It's just, it becomes more of like a hobby than anything. It's really fun, and yeah, you can create anything you want out of your mind, you know, just whatever you want, you know. And so we'll go ahead and save Max before we do anything too drastic, you know. Just like I said, you guys need to keep save your files. So me, I'm not a big fan of also setting projects, because I don't like all that extra files or folders that it comes with. So I'm just going to save as, and let's go ahead and route that directory again. So let's go to 3D Max, create LP, but I'm going to change the name to Tut version because that was the other version I did. So this is the Tut version. No, this is, okay, so LP underscore Tut. There you go, it's a 3D Max file. Okay. So you got monster inside and a pretty nice looking crate. If it was me, I don't know, I probably would continue the top part of the box all the way around. I know it still looks pretty good though. I mean, you can add kind of like let's say for instance this just kind of breaks off right here, and they ran out of way to keep him inside, you know. So I don't know. It's up to you guys what you want to do. But yeah, I mean that pretty much sums it down for this. I'm going to teach you guys how to do some normal maps and some spec maps and Crazy Bump within the next tutorial. So be sure to watch that, and we'll plug them into the material editor, and then after that we're going to go ahead and export and bring into Unity and UDK. So thanks for watching.